what's up everyone? It's Emily and welcome back to my channel. I want to start off this video by saying happy holidays. If you are celebrating any of the holidays that happen during this time of year, I hope that you are spending it doing the things that you love with people that you love, doing all of the wonderful things that come with this time of year, and staying warm if it is winter where you are. I know it's chilly here. And I also want to just say Happy New Year. 2024 is almost here by the time that I'm filming this, and I hope that 2024 is a great year for you and that things are looking up. I am hoping that 2024 is a great year, and I can't wait to see what it brings for all of us. So I want to do my little winter TBR. I've got some books here that I want to read this winter, and I'm just going to talk about them a little bit. And yeah, there's not too many, I think like 10 or 11 books, and I just want to speak about them briefly. And if you end up being interested in any of these books and you want to purchase them, I will have them all in a list in an affiliate link down in the description for bookshop.org. I've never done or promoted an affiliate link before, but if you want to support me and my channel, that is a great way to do it while also supporting indie bookstores, because bookshop.org does donate part of their proceeds to independent bookstores to help fight against the evil A. They have currently raised about $30 million at the time of me making this video, which is really exciting and important to me. So yeah, I want to be transparent about that. It is an affiliate link, but it would be a way to support the channel, buying some books that you love, and supporting indie bookstores. So moving on from that, I want to go ahead and talk about the books that I want to read this winter. There's not a particular theme. We've got like a variety of genres here, from sci-fi to fantasy to dystopia to dark academia and contemporary novels. So I'm very excited. It's going to be an exciting season, hopefully. As always, this is just kind of like what I want to read. These are the books that I'm looking forward to reading, but I am quite the mood reader. So if I end up not reading one of these, I try not to be too hard on myself, because I can't force myself to read something that doesn't sound good. This also does not include audiobooks, because my audiobooks are kind of like on a case-by-case basis. I kind of just read audiobooks that come up on my app that I read them on, like that are recommended to me that I don't own. That's kind of how I choose my audiobooks, so I can't really plan those ahead of time. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's talk about some books and get after it. This is my winter TBR. The first book I want to talk about is The Parable of the Sower. This is one that I've been wanting to read for years now. A lot of people kind of compare it to 1984, but like that's not a great comparison. It's kind of like people think the future will either be 1984 or Parable of the Sower. I think it's gonna be a lot like this one, but we'll see. It does take place in 2024 actually, so I'm hoping that doesn't give me an existential crisis while reading this. Basically, it takes place in America, where the main character has the ability to feel the emotions that other people feel, and she kind of journals these. I don't know much more about it than that. I know that it's set in a world where greenhouse gases have destroyed the environment, and only the rich, wealthy elite can survive and rule the world. Anyway, so I'm very excited to read it. Octavia Butler is supposed to be a brilliant writer. This will be my first book that I've read by her, I believe, and I'm excited to get into it and see what all the hubbub is about, because I'm sure it's going to be brilliant. The next book I want to read is The Three-Body Problem. Hugo just finished reading this. It's going to be a Netflix series soon. It's sci-fi. There's murder. There's intrigue. There's, I think, robots or something, aliens or something. I don't know. I'm very excited to read it. I don't know almost anything about it. Hugo did tell me it's a bit science heavy, but I am actually looking forward to that because I liked that aspect in The Martian and Project Hail Mary and Artemis by Andy Weir. This is obviously different than that, and I believe it also takes, I think it's Chinese history, and it's kind of like a retelling and like a reframing of that as well. There's a lot of history built into this sci-fi world. And, you know, I love lots of different sci-fi, but sci-fi where there's like actual science in it that is like explained to me in a way that I understand and feel smart makes it even better for me. And I want to read this before the new series comes out on Netflix. So that's The Three-Body Problem. I'm excited. The next one I have is The Gospel of Loki. First of all, a round of applause for the cover. This is gorgeous. So beautiful. I love the foil and the art style on this. Hugo and I found this at a secondhand store. It was one of those things that you see and it's like a rare gem, and you're like, it's a gem. Yes. This is, I believe, kind of a loose retelling of Loki's story. Loki being the Norse god, if you are familiar with Norse mythology and or Marvel movies, you've probably heard of him. And his rise to power all the way to Ragnarok, which is in Norse mythology, oh, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of like the apocalypse, the end of the world, the end of the gods. So, and Loki is supposed to be the bringer of Ragnarok. So this should be very interesting. I don't know how historically accurate it is to the mythology, but you know, something about Norse mythology just reminds me of winter and like the snow and the feeling of this time of year. So that's kind of why I decided that this would be a good one to read in the winter. And also, you know, it's been a while since I've read something based on Norse mythology, so I thought I would give it a try. The next one I have is All's Well. This one is written by Mona Awad? I'm not really sure. She's the author of Bunny. I have not yet read Bunny, but that is one that I do want to read. But this one I chose out of like her little book collection because it follows an actress, and specifically a Shakespearean actress turned collegiate theater professor, and bad things start happening, and we kind of find out why her career ended, and I think it gets pretty dark, so I'm very curious about how it's gonna go. I also thought the cover was lovely. I love the pink. Funny because all of her books have this like almost cute aesthetic to them, and then they end up being very dark, is what I understand. So I'm curious about how this is gonna go. I don't know much more about it other than what's on the back of the book, but I love Shakespeare, I love theater, all of that stuff, so I'm sure this is gonna be an interesting read for me at the minimum. Next, I've got a couple dark academias. So I have the Luminaries, and now people say this is dark academia, but to me it seems like dark academia mixed with like cottagecore or something, because instead of it really taking place at a school or university, much like dark academia often does, this apparently I think takes place more in a forest. Now, I don't know where the dark academia aspect comes from other than she's like training / studying to be like a hunter of creatures in this woods, and there's like a secret order, which I guess is very dark academia-y. But again, this cover, absolutely gorgeous. Hugo bought this for me as a surprise gift, so I really don't know much about it, but I kind of like it that way so that I can experience the story without other people's opinions and thoughts or too much glaring at me to begin with, so that I can kind of just enjoy the ride I'm gonna go on. You'll see that that's a common trend with a lot of the books that I read. I know almost nothing about them so that I can just form my own opinions as I read it. I'm quite excited about it. The main character's name is Winnie. I love that name. So I'm interested. I don't know anything else. It'll be interesting. Sounds like kind of witchy, cottagecore-y, I don't know. The other dark academia I have is The Maidens. This has very, very split reviews from what I've seen, like the little bit that I've seen people talk about this. Not even on like Storygraph or Goodreads or anything like that. I just mean like people that I know or follow that have posted about this. It's like one or the other. So I have no idea. But it's dark academia. It takes place at Cambridge. It has every like pillar of dark academia. Someone has died. Someone is trying to find out why this person died. There's a secret order. There's more than meets the eye. It takes place at a university. This one is Cambridge. But this one also has Greek mythology kind of wrapped up in it, and I'm very into mythology, so I'm interested to see how this unravels. This is the author of The Silent Patient. I've never read that book. I have no idea if it's any good. Again, people love or hate it, so I'm kind of just gonna read it and hope I like it, and if I don't, well, that's okay. Like, maybe someone else will like it. But yeah, I found it used at a bookstore with my mom, at a thrift store, and so I saw it. I was super intrigued reading just the front cover and picked it up, and now I'm excited to read it. And I feel like dark academia fits this time of year for me as well. It's like winter, fall for me. It's like the dark academia season in my mind. So I haven't read a Star Wars book in a hot minute. So I decided I needed to read another Star Wars book, and Claudia Gray is my girl, so I'm gonna read Lost Stars. This was a Christmas book last year from Hugo, and I have yet to read it because I have just been slacking. This is kind of a Romeo and Juliet-esque story that takes place during the Galactic Empire. Yeah. So two people join the Imperial Academy. They fall in love. One of them decides to join the rebellion. The other one does not. They stay loyal to the Empire, and so it's kind of a will they be together? Will they break up? What will happen? Sort of a deal. It's supposed to be one of the best Star Wars novels. Like, it is beloved in the book community, so I'm very excited to read this one. And one of the things I like about it as well is that it focuses on characters outside of like the main characters of the movies. So, you know, there's no Luke Skywalker, there's no Han Solo or anything like that. Like, it's a new cast of characters, a new story, something very different. So this is one I'm very excited for. It looks fairly large, but the print inside is not super small, so I don't think it will be too big of a beast. But I am excited to get back into the Star Wars books because it's been a minute. And this will be, I think, my third or fourth Claudia Gray book that I've read, and I love her writing, and I love the way that she writes Star Wars, so I am excited. So this will be a good one, I hope. The next one I'm going to talk about is Legends and Lattes, and if you are on like fantasy talk or whatever, if you're into fantasy, cozy fantasy, anything like that, you've probably heard of this book. This book blew up from what I remember. I am so excited to read this. I just finished, well, I'm in my second playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 right now, and I don't know what it is, but like now I want to live in that world, but like in a cozy aspect of that world, and I feel like this is going to bring that for me. From my understanding, the main character is an adventurer, kind of like you would be in Baldur's Gate, and she decides she's done adventuring and she's going to open up a cafe, and I don't know anything beyond that, but that sounds perfect to me, and I cannot wait to read this while just like drinking coffee on the couch. I feel like this is going to be like my perfect winter aesthetic read. I don't even need it to be aesthetic. I just want to be warm and cozy inside, and I think this is going to do it. So I'm very excited for Legends and Lattes. I'm hoping that people haven't hyped it up too much because I've just heard so many good things about it, and I'm like, if it doesn't live up to it, I'm gonna cry, but I think it will. I'm really hoping it does. I've just got a couple more. So the next one is When Women Were Dragons, which is another fantasy book. I bought one of the things that intrigued me about it is that it takes place in Wisconsin, and I'm a Wisconsin girl, born and raised. Again, I know very little except for what is on the back of this book, and that women turn into dragons. Listen, I love dragons. If I could be a dragon. So apparently women turn into dragons, except for the person who's narrating this book. I don't know anything beyond that. I don't know if I want to know anything beyond that. You said dragons, you said women turning into dragons, you've got me. I'm hooked. I'm gonna read it. Next book I'm gonna read is called All My Rage, and this is, oh my gosh, this is what I'm borrowing from the library, and it's a dual perspective book. One is in Pakistan, I don't know what year, and the other one is in California, and I believe it's like two family members, like a grandma or something, or an aunt, and then the current child, the younger person now. So it's like two timelines, and like one of them is like the family coming from Pakistan to America, and then the other girl lives in America. I'm like, that's like kind of what I understand from the back. I like the dual timelines, and there's also a lot of music apparently referenced in it, and there's a Spotify playlist with this book as well, so that's really cool. I kind of like that I don't know too much about the story, so that I can experience it alongside the characters. I think it's going to be about like generational healing, generational forgiveness, and probably about the life of like immigrants. Like that's kind of the vibes that I'm getting from it, so I'm very interested to see how it all plays out. And the last book I have is called Six Crimson Cranes. This was like really big a while ago, and I got this book a while ago, and I just like haven't picked it up yet. I was kind of in a fantasy slump for a while, but now I'm like, fantasy, I need to read more fantasy. We've got magic, we've got unwanted marriage, we've got stepmothers, we've got an awesome cover, we've got an Elsa moment where the forbidden magic that is hidden inside us is exposed for everyone to see on accident. Like I don't know, listen, I'm here for the ride, and a dragon, okay? This book has everything. Yeah, there's like a curse, there's some magic going on. Again, I didn't want to know much about this book. This was one of those things where I saw like a little blurb about it, and I was like, done. No one has even hyped this book up to me. I don't know. I'm trying to stay away from the hype these days, because the hype always disappoints. Those are the books that I have set aside for my winter TBR. If you've read any of these books, please let me know what you thought about them in the comments, and let me know what you are planning to read this winter. I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you so much for watching and for being here with me. It is so great to sit down and talk about books again and to be a part of this community, and I'm so grateful for it every day. As we go into the new year, this is very exciting. I've got lots of plans. We'll see if any of them come to fruition. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.